Hi, my name is Brian, and I'm the last plastic grocery bag in New York City. Now I can't be a grocery bag anymore, so I work doing video intros. Hello, and welcome to
Post-production.
All right, we are going to go ahead and dive into week 7. There are some handouts and things to take a look at in there. And I'm just going to head and jump into handout 14A. 14A is talking about the project to image, sort of like background source image that you're going to be photoshopping yourself into, and a little bit about where to find some good images and how to make sure that they are actually useful. So here we have the PDF for handout 14A, walks through some stuff a little bit, and I'm going to look at a couple of things. First, I'm going to look at Google and a little bit of why that is annoying. And then I'll look at one from the New York Digital collections file. It's going to be a little bit tricky to make sure you get an image that is big enough and high quality, right? Because even if it's a lot of pixels, it may have been like compressed because they saved it low quality. It may be a bad scan to begin with, whatever. So keep in mind that it's not going to be as simple as typing in like picture with Gorbachev or whatever and finding it. I mean, maybe it will be. That would be great. So let's go ahead, and first I'm going to go into the Googles. Here we go, Google, and I'll search for, I don't know, let's search for Gorbachev. Gorbachev in office. Cool. Now be searching to know AI shit, all right? Don't do that. Go to images, right? Now that we're here in Google Images, I'm going to go over here to Tools. When I click Tools, I get this little set of things down here, and I can go to size, and I can set it to large. It used to be that you could actually set more specifically like pixel dimensions. Wow, that was great, right? But now they're like, meh. So you can't. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I don't want Alamy stuff because it's got watermarks all over it. How about here? So I said large, but large is a not terribly specific description. So the only way to see how big it is, and again, this isn't even image quality, right? This is just pixel dimensions. If I click on it, right, so I've clicked on this image here, it pops up over here, and I can come down to the bottom and get a little readout of the actual pixel dimensions. Now we know we want it to be 8 by 10 at 300 pixels per inch, right, ideally. So that would be 3,000 pixels on the long side. It's a little unlikely you'll be able to find that just Googling around. But looking at this, this is 1430 by 964. So not enough. I can go look at it specifically to see if maybe I'm wrong. There's the image, open image in new tab. Right, that's even smaller. So, you know, and you can try to do tricky stuff like, can I go into that folder? No. Right, so finding the image is going to be harder than one might think. Right, oh, here we go, 2464 by 1648. That's pretty good. And this is just on some dude's website, so that's also a good sign. Click on it. Cool. Oh, that looks great. All right, so I'm going to right click and open image in new tab, right click again, save image as, and this is actually, we've really lucked out. So it's saving it not as something that's like WebP, right? Saving it with an actual JPEG extension. That sounds great. So I'm going to go ahead and actually save that to my desktop. Cool. And we'll take a look at that. And then in the interim, I'm going to look at another option that we have here, which is the New York Public Library digital collection. Click on that link there in the PDF, open that up. And they have a really extensive collection. A lot of it is digital. Not all of it is something you can download. All right, I think part of that is sort of them trying to be a little wary of AI. Some of it may be copyright stuff, but Farm Security Administration, right? Those are definitely public domain. I can click on that and I'll use them as a sort of example of what stuff we can look for in images like this. So I've clicked on one of them, right, because it has a bunch of people in it. These are all really tiny. I don't know that it would be a very good Project 2 file. Also, you can see their feet, not helpful. It does have people in it, which is helpful for scale, but so there's the image. And down here, you'll see this fantastic little thing that I love, which is saying, what are your download options? Right, so 760, 1600, 2560, or original. Original, baby. So we click on original, and it's now going to download this big old chunky file. So that's great. Eventually, perhaps it will even occur. Bloop, bloop. There it is. So it brings it up in my web browser. That's kind of stupid. So I'm going to right click on it and save image as. I'm going to put it here in that same samples for size check folder. Okay, so now we've got two possible images. That's pretty great. I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next step, which is seeing if they will actually work for me. So I'm going to go there and open up Photoshop and Command O, open up those two images. Samples for size check. There we are. Now, we're going to be printing these out 8 by 10. So I want to make sure first that it's sort of 8 by 10-ish. So to do that, hit F for full screen, C for crop. I want to make sure I have just the regular old crop, not perspective crop or some other things. So click and hold on that and select the actual crop tool. And then up here at the top, I'm going to set a ratio. If I click on that, there's a drop down. One of the options is 4 by 5 / 8 by 10. They're the same ratio. And cool, I'm going to go ahead and, oh, but that's a vertical. Right? Don't want that. So escape out of it. I'm going to swap, hit that little button there, swap it. Now it is a horizontal. All right, so I can go ahead and do something like that. That is cropping it to a proportion of 8 by 10. And now I can check and see at that size, right, or at that proportion, if I make it 8 inches by 10 inches, what have we got? So I went to image size, so that's Command Option I, or if you are feeling more menu-y, image size, right? I want to check it in inches, right? So I'm going to turn off resample. I don't want it to make up any pixels. I just want to see how many pixels I've got. Set the width to 10, the height is 8, and the resolution is 206. That's all right, right? So again, ideally, 300, 360, those are great numbers. 240, that's good, right? 240, I don't think anybody will notice any different. Under 240, you know, you get down to 180 and you're like kind of pushing it. Below 180, if you're at 150, I mean, unless it's a picture of the Loch Ness Monster, don't use it. You really want to be higher than that, at least 180 pixels per inch. So here we go, 8 inches by 10 inches, right? We set it to that. We had resample off, so it just takes the pixels we have and stretches them until they're filling 8 by 10, and we get 206 pixels per inch. That's fine. Now the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here to 100% and see, now that I know if there's enough pixels, is it any good, right? Is it blurry? Is it out of focus? Is it like super compressed as a JPEG for 100 years? So I'm going to hit Z for zoom, and I'm going to hit the 100% button. The other option I have there is that I can just hit Command 1. That will also go into 100%. So now I'm viewing it on my screen at 100%. That means that every pixel in the image is a pixel on my screen. It's showing me all the data. It's not sort of like shrinking it down so that it can't show me all the pixels. It's showing me everything that's there, and now I can zoom around and see, and that looks reasonable. Okay, so this is an image that would work. Let's look at the other image. Don't save. So same thing, I'm going to hit C for crop. I'm going to go over here and make sure I've got the normal crop tool. I'm going to make sure it's set to the right proportion, which is 4:5, 8:10. Because I just changed it, it's going to be a nice horizontal. Loving it. Okay. Crop to what I want. Cool, hit return. And now I'm going to go ahead and look at image size again. So Command Option I, or again, if you are not a keyboardy person, I'm going to go to Image and Image Size. Hey, now. Try to hit the Command keys again. All right, so resample is turned off. Inches, set it to 10 inches. Oh my gosh. 741 pixels per inch. That is just so many pixels. That's awesome. So this was digitized, really high quality, lots and lots of pixels. Doesn't change the underlying image though, so if it was not a great image that they scanned really well, it's still going to be not a great image. So we set it to that, 8:10. We confirmed that our resolution totally fine. I'm going to hit OK, and now I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to zoom into 100%, either by hitting Z for the zoom key and clicking on 100%, or by just hitting Command 1. And I'm going to grab the hand tool by either holding down the space bar or hitting H on the keyboard, or I guess I could go over here and figure out where the hand tool is. There it is. And I'm just going to scroll around. So it's okay. The issue here is that all the figures are really small. So even though looking at this, we can say, yeah, it's not a bad image, it has enough pixels, there's like a relatively like acceptable level of detail there. By the time you Photoshop yourself in, you're gonna be teeny tiny, right? So not actually fulfilling the assignment. So this image is not going to work because there's not really a big place to put yourself. You know, could you crop it in? I don't know, there's a lot of resolution. Maybe you could crop it into a point where your figure would be big enough, but I'm going to say this is also not a great candidate, and I would go back into the archive and scroll through there looking for a better one. So that's kind of our I don't know, how do I see what my image looks like? You should definitely be finding those background images, right? We have a couple of weeks yet still, but it takes time to take your own picture for the self-portrait part, and it takes some time to edit it in, and it takes some time to print it out. So do start this now and go through and find something that will work for you from a file standpoint, and also that will be interesting to work on. All right, so that's that. And now we're going to go on to the other handout, handout 14, talk a little bit about the pen tool and do some masking using the pen tool to make our selections. So see you there.